What is going on, everybody? Today we are at the Utah International Auto Expo. We're going to check out some new cars and review some of the latest models. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so here we have the all-new restyled next generation 2023 Honda Pilot. And Honda is marketing this as a more off-road version of the Honda Pilot, which previously was kind of known as just like a minivan crossover type of vehicle. But now here for 2023, they are making it more of a rugged vehicle, making it a little bit more aggressive. And, you know, they do have LED headlights as standard and LED tail lights as well. And you can see Pilot written over here. This is the touring model, but they have lots of different models, including a Trail Sport, which is supposed to be the off-road version, which comes with skid plates and other ground clearance effects and whatnot. But this one being the touring, probably a little bit more luxurious than some of the other trim levels. Now let's talk about the interior. Starting off, you do have soft touch materials here. This is a rubberized material, and then you do have a little bit of nice gray leather. Here are your window switches, pretty normal, nothing too crazy. And here are your seats. Now Honda does offer heated seats as standard on the Pilot, which is nice. That's kind of something they're throwing into a lot of their vehicles. Now jumping in, there are two options for this center display. You can get either a 7-inch screen or a 10.2-inch screen as available. And then this, on the other hand, is either a 7-inch screen or an upgraded 9-inch. And I gotta say, the 9-inch is a little bit on the smaller end. I mean, a lot of the competition is doing like 12.3-inch screens or even larger than that. And this being a 9-inch, being a brand new model, it's a little disappointing, but take that for what it's worth. One more thing to mention about the center display is you do get wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto, and you do have 360-degree camera available as an option, especially for some of the off-road trims like the Trail Sport. Now, briefly, I do want to talk about the speaker setup. You do get 7 speakers as standard, but you can get up to 12 with the upgraded trims. Looking at the steering wheel, it is nice and leather wrapped. You do have your volume and seek buttons over here on the left-hand side, your cruise control over here on the right. And this vehicle does come with Honda Sense technology, where it does have adaptive cruise control, blind spot monitoring, all the modern safety features that you would expect from a new vehicle. Over here, you do have your climate control settings. You do have heated seats over here, like I mentioned earlier, and that's how you control them. And then down here, you do have a little bit of a compartment. You have some 2 USB ports, a wireless charging pad. Moving further back, this is your gear selector, which is a little bit odd and different. You do have 2 cup holders over here. These are your different drive modes. You do have hill descent control, again, kind of going with the theme of being a little bit more of an off-roader. This is your electronic parking brake. You do have a soft touch padding over here for your armrests and a pretty big compartment. I mean, this is a mid-size SUV, so you would expect a little bit more room. And then you do have a panoramic moonroof on this one. That's not standard, but you can get that as an option, as you can see on this touring model. Now, jumping into the second row, you do have sunshades over here, which is a nice addition. This is hard touch plastic. That's kind of expected. You do have a 2-tier setup similar to the front row with cup holders over here, storage compartment down here, and then you do have 3 rows as standard on every single Pilot. So obviously Honda knows its target demographic here. In terms of legroom, you're looking at 41 inches in the second row. Now when it comes to the third row, you just push this button over here and the entire unit slides forward. And legroom back here is actually 33 inches, which really isn't that bad considering this is just a mid-size SUV, competes with like the Ford Explorer and other competitors like the Toyota Highlander. If you want a little bit more space back here, you're gonna have to go for a full-size SUV. Now taking a look at the back, there's obviously a few different ways you can configure this. By pulling on this tether over here, you can actually lower the third row. And behind the second row, you get upwards of 49 cubic feet of space, actually pretty massive. If you do have that third row up, you're actually only getting 19 cubic feet of space. But that's, again, okay, because this is a mid-size crossover. Pretty large compartment over here underneath the floor of the trunk. That's actually really nice to have. Lots of place to hide some things. And then this is kind of a plastic surface, so it's a little bit more durable, and that way you can just clean this off a lot easier than something like upholstery or cloth. And then with a push of a button, you will lower the lift gate. Now let's briefly talk about towing capacity. Honda says this vehicle can tow up to 5,000 pounds, which should be plenty enough for any of your toys or snowmobiles or goodies like that. Okay, now let's talk about the powertrain. You only get one option on the Pilot. You get a 3.5-liter V6 that produces 285 horsepower and 262 pound-feet of torque. Now that has made it to a 10-speed torque converter automatic, so thankfully no CVT on this vehicle, which is nice, and you can get it in either front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive depending on what climate you live in. Now talking about fuel economy, you got 19 in the city and 25 on the highway for a combined 21, which isn't bad, but not as great as what you would expect from some of the other competition that offer hybrid powertrains. Now pricing for the new Pilot starts at $39,150. So what are your thoughts on the Pilot? Would you take this over a Nissan Pathfinder or a Toyota Highlander? Let me know know your thoughts in the comments below. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for all of the weekly car videos. Also, check me out on all the social media down in the description below at Schwazy_. And until next time, everybody, I hope you stay Schwazy, stay healthy, have a wonderful day.